Yeah, I have just shared it on your Facebook page right now, so you can see. And
Yes,
now, can you see it?
I can't see because I'm not connected right now. I'm just focusing here.
No problem.
Yeah.
So that's all right. Just now 2 more minutes before I finish sharing at one or two more places
Okay.
for people so that we get maximum people to view it. So I'm going to share it on my Ahimsa Festival page also because that's where also many people are tuning in.
Yes.
Okay.
Done?
Yeah, it is looking like that. All right. So now it's your page. Everything is clear. It's all synced.
Okay, done. This
Yeah.
is
I
6:50.
am. I'm going to mute myself, and I am going to mute all the participants also. Just give me a minute.
Every 15 minutes you have to remind me that my voice is very clear. Okay.
I will. I will. We will keep doing that. You're mute. You're mute. We can't hear you. You're mute. Just please change it. You are mute, doctor. Yeah, now we.
Hello. Yes.
Yes. Yes,
Uh,
now we can. Yeah. It's
yes,
perfect.
friends.
Uh, Welcome, Dr. Pawan Vadwan. I have heard and seen your video, so many times about the milk and also the wonderful work that you do with, which is universal, particularly from, the whole food, plant-based diet and lifestyle. And also you are doing sujo therapy. It's very interesting. Uh, Friends, welcome Dr. Vadwan, and he's expert in the nutrition part, which is what we would love to hear a lot more today. He has amazing results. He's got hundreds of videos on internet, and it's really an honor to have him here. Thank you, Dr. Wadwan, to be here.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much. Friends, we are here for 1.5 hours, and I am here to discuss lifestyle disease reversal with whole food plant-based diet. This is a special seminar, and why it is special is because this seminar is dedicated to the spirit of the Himsa festival. I thank you, all of you, to joining me, and thanks that you are following the right kind of nutrition, because it is not only this nutrition is very good for our health, it is also very good for our planet, because global warming issues are there and many things are happening. The people who are following whole food plant-based diet are not only healthiest, but they are helping the planet. So this seminar is a very extensive seminar. I will be very fast and covering many topics. You have to be you have to hold your nerves and be with me. Question and answers will be taken in the last 20 minutes, right? So we are starting now, and it is lifestyle disease reversal with whole food plant-based diet. So see why in this seminar I am just focusing on the health part of the whole food plant-based diet. The environmental issues has been taken already by Dr. Tushar Mehta and many other participants. So this is not the concern in this seminar. Here we are mainly concerned with the health. Now the thing is, we all love health. We are here, we follow whole food plant-based diet because we all want to be healthy. So how to be healthy? How can we keep the body healthy? If we look at this model, there are 4 things which are required to keep the body healthy. Suppose I would take a model of a healthy car, like we bring a Mercedes car, an imported car. Now, how to maintain that car? The model is how to heal the human body. There are 4 problems which can happen in this car. First is any of the nut bolt, which may any nut bolt go wrong, like brake is not working, steering is not working, mirror is not working. What you will do? You will go to the mechanic and repair it. right? So it has to be tightened. If brake is not working, it has to be tightened. If the mirror is not working, it has to be taken care by the mechanic. This is what happens to our body, right? I will talk it later. Now, other thing is, the car has to be sent to the service station every 3 months. If you are not sending the car to the service station, it will not work properly. So every 3 months, car has to be sent. And next is, what kind of petrol you put in your car. If the petrol you are putting in your car is very good, it is high quality petrol, like premium quality petrol, the mileage of the car will be very good. It will run very smooth. In the same way, human body is a car. It is an imported car made by God, which is wonderful to know. And if any nut bolt or any spare part of this car is not working properly, suppose you have a headache or you have a slip disc or you have a osteoarthritis, you have a heart problem, you should go to the doctor so that the doctor who is a mechanic repairs it. Now, how he repairs it, it may be in any form, like it may be allopathic doctor, it may be a sujok specialist, acupressure specialist, acupuncture specialist, homeopathy, allopathy, Ayurveda, anybody, but they are just mechanics. They just repair that particular part. Now, this car is Mercedes car, imported car, human body, and it requires servicing daily. Servicing has to happen daily. So you should daily go for a walk. You should daily do some Tai Chi, some yoga, twist therapy, gymnasts, spiral motion. You should do something daily. So as to keep the joints healthy, keep the body healthy, and the body is working fine. So it should be serviced daily. Now, about the third thing, you should put a very good quality petrol in your car, in your body. That is the food. It depends what quality of fuel you are putting in your body. It will tell how much long you will live, how many disease you get, how much long you last. So this is very important. And human body is not only a physical car, it is a metaphysical car also. It has a spiritual connection with the God. So it's some kind of meditation, some sort of spirituality, some sort of smile, and behavioral changes and behavioral modifications are required to keep the mind healthy. So this is a very clear message to you that how to heal the human body. Now, the thing is, in this seminar, we are not concerned here about the mechanical part. We are not talking about the servicing part, but we are talking about these two things. These two are called as ahar vihavara. Ahar means food, and vihavara means how you behave in the society, how you react to your circumstances into the society in many situations. If you master these two things, the 90% of the problems get solved. And our main concern is the food part. Because see, you go to a doctor once in a month or maybe 15 days. You go for a walk only once a day, but you eat food 3 to 5 times a day, and your behavior, that is smiling behavior, you are doing every moment, how you are reacting to your circumstances, your situations, every moment. If you are taking stress, so much of stress, no matter what food you are taking, or what doctor, what nephrologist, what cardiologist you are going, it does not matter. What kind of walk or Tai Chi or yoga you are doing, it does not matter. If your behavior is not good, you are not stress free, you will be diseased. So most important things are, when you require 5 to 6 times food in the one day, and you have to smile in every moment. Keep smiling in every moment and don't take stress. So we're our major these. Let's go for it. More different types of food. There are 4 types of food which occurs in this world. One is the food which comes directly from the God, that is the sunlight. Most important, I will tell you about it. The other food is the food which is extorted from the other species, food which is with the killing spirit, that we kill other species and take food out of them. We create problems for them, and this is a killing spirit food which is extorted from other species, the food. Then we have a food which is artificially made for earning profit. Food artificially made for earning profit, that is refined processed food, where the companies want to make profit out of it. And we have a 4th type of food which is naturally grows in the nature under God's spirit, like fruits, vegetables, lentils, beans, and grains. This food grows in the nature naturally. So look at this. It is the vitamin D of the sunlight, the food from the God. Animal food like meat, eggs, fish, and dairy products, which are the food which is extorted from other species. Food, all industrial, refined, processed, and preserved food is the food which is made with the spirit of earning profit. Vegetable, lentils, beans, fruits, and cereals, raw or mildly cooked, are those foods which grows in the nature under God's spirit. This is the whole food plant-based diet. Now, global and regional mortality from top 20 causes of death. The Lancet published data that #1 cause of death in the world is high blood pressure, and the #4 cause of death in the world is the diet low in fruits. Diet low in the fruits is the fourth most important cause of death in the world. So many deaths because we are not eating fruits. And then we have high in sodium is causing so many deaths. Diet low in nuts and the seeds is causing so many deaths. And high total cholesterol in the diet, again causing so many deaths. Diet low in whole grains is causing so many deaths all over the world. I mean, diabetes is not listed here. There is no list. Cancer is causing so many deaths. There is, in this list, there is no tuberculosis, there is no dengue, there is no malaria. But it is the food which is most important. Diet low in fruits. Oh my God, which means if we are eating a lot of fruits, we may escape such a big death rate. It's great to know because Lancet is one of the renowned international medical journal, and it has clearly shown that wrong kind of diet is causing mortality in the world. Now about the sunshine, the God's food. Sun is the source of this solar system. It has been proved now in multiple international studies that vitamin D is linked to cancer. Majority of the international studies have found a protective relationship between sufficient amount of vitamin D and the lower risk of cancer. So if your vitamin D status is good, you are going out into the sun properly, there are very less chances that you will develop cancer. Okay, so this is published in the American Journal of Public Health in 2006, and they have clearly shown that vitamin D, if your vitamin D level is good, there are very less chances you will develop cancer. Vitamin D and the immune system. In the Georgetown University, they have published a paper which has proved that sunlight offers a surprise benefit. It energizes infection-fighting T cells. What are T cells? T cells are those cells of the immune system which actually give us fighting immunity against many kinds of viruses, bacteria, and fungi. So if your T cells are working very fine and they are being energized by the sunlight, you will not develop any kind of infection. So vitamin D is very, very important for the immune system. Vitamin D in allergies and asthma. In many international studies, vitamin D in atopic dermatitis, asthma, and allergic disease, they have proved that it appears there is a relationship between low levels of vitamin D and the occurrence of allergic disease. Vitamin D deficiency more likely to report atopic dermatitis, which means अगर आपका vitamin D level बिल्कुल proper है, if your vitamin D level is very good around 100, there are very less, your asthma will go off. If you have any allergies, they will go off, because vitamin D is the food from the sun, the God, which is coming directly from the zero world. Low sun exposure causes diabetes because low sunlight, low vitamin D, because it is very important for the immune system. Immune system malfunctions, beta cells malfunction, low insulin production, and you develop diabetes. You develop a lot of inflammation, and your immune system is not working fully. So one of the main reasons for the people who are following whole food plant-based diet and their sugar is not getting down, which means you are not properly going out into the sun. There are so many landmark trials showing link of vitamin D deficiency and diabetes. These are all landmark trials, and the link to all these trials will be given to you people later on. Means I am very clear that low sun exposure causes diabetes, and it is proved in so many journals. So go out in sun. Vitamin multiple, wherever, if you go near the equator, the countries which are near equator, there is no multiple sclerosis there. There's zero prevalence of multiple sclerosis in the countries which are near the equator, which means multiple sclerosis, actually, all of you know, it's a deadly condition where whole of the nervous system is affected, and there are repeated attacks of the paralysis. And in India, its prevalence is quite high, especially in the south, where there is a lot of non-veg intake. Multiple sclerosis level prevalence is quite high. So vitamin D in multiple sclerosis, therapeutic potential of vitamin D for multiple sclerosis. In this paper, they proved that in equator, near the equator, there is no multiple sclerosis because of good sunlight exposure. Vitamin D and cardiovascular disease. In international studies, they have proved that vitamin D has a potential anti-atherosclerotic effect, which means atherosclerosis is what? Deposition of cholesterol into the arteries. And vitamin D has got a lot of anti-atherosclerosis effect. And if you go to your cardiologist these days, you can see the prescription is containing vitamin D tablets. So better go out in sun if you don't want to die from heart attack. How much sunshine is sufficient? This is again the quote from international medical journals. A pan-India study has revealed that best time to get exposed to the sun is between 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. since the wavelength of ultraviolet B rays is 290 to 320 nanometer during this period, which is essential for the skin to make vitamin D, which means some people think that morning sunlight is very good to go out. Yes, it is good to, you can enjoy that sunlight, but the best time to make vitamin D is between 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at a latitude on which India is located. I'm not talking about other countries. If you're in India, you should go out into the sun from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. for how many minutes? Here it is written that sunshine, how much is enough? If you know how much sunshine causes a slight redness of your skin, then 1/4 of this amount, provided 2 to 3 times per week, is more than adequate to meet our vitamin D needs and to store some in our liver and body fat, which means if your skin becomes slightly red after about 30 minutes in the sun, then 10 minutes 3 times per week will be enough exposure to get plenty of vitamin D. So what I suggest, to take 3 days in a week, and with minimal clothes like t-shirts and shorts, you go out into the sun and stay there for 10 to 15 minutes. Because I think for an average Indian who is not very fairer, not very dark, and medium fair quality, that person's skin becomes, I think, red, itching starts, especially for me, after half an hour. So I think for me 10 to 15 minutes in 30% of the clothes with t-shirts and shorts 3 times a week is more than enough for adequate levels of vitamin D to be maintained in the body. Food extorted from other species with killing spirit. Now we are talking about the non-veg part. Non-veg part is like meat, fish, eggs, and dairy. Incidence of, now we are all, this is a Ahimsa festival, and I have to make it very clear that why non-veg, including meat, fish, eggs, and dairy, is bad. So let's, because this, as per my model, this food is not good because it is extorted from other species, killing it. This spirit is itself, it shows, means it is not God's spirit, it is bad. So let's look at it. Incidence of cancer in poultry. Even those people who are working in the poultry farms, a pilot case cohort study of liver and pancreatic cancers in the poultry workers. Studies have proven that those people even work in the poultry farmers, even if they are vegetarians and not eating the chickens, even then they are more prone to develop 9 times to 10 times more prone to develop pancreatic cancer and the liver cancer because of the prevalence viruses, cancer-causing viruses in these poultry chickens, because they are kept in a very unhygienic condition. One room will be keeping around 4,000 chickens, and because of their unhealthy conditions, there are a lot of cancer viruses in them, which you get exposed when you are working there. So even if you are working there, you get 10 times more higher chances of developing a liver pancreatic cancer. Then imagine if you are eating them. I mean, it is 100 times more cancer causing than if you are away from unhealthy, unhygienic poultry. Meat and the cancer risk, the Lancet International Medical Journal have proved that red meat and processed meat are carcinogenic. They have labeled, means the world's biggest journal has already labeled that red and processed meat are carcinogenic. They are cancerous. They are cancer causing. EPIC study, the European Prospective Investigation into the Cancer and Nutrition study, proved that cancer is strongly linked to poultry consumption. The EPIC study found that the risk increased between 56% and the 280% for every 50 grams of poultry consumed daily. Truth about the eggs. One small area, 10,000 to 20,000 of chickens are kept, and they all live in a very unhealthy conditions where so much of excreta is produced. So no, these all these chickens are prone to develop a lot of diseases. But the poultry farmers don't want that. They want them to live so that they earn profit out of it. So what they do, they feed them with a lot of high antibiotics in their veins. So what they found is the highest level of the antibiotics are detectable at the site of injection and in the eggs after the injection of nitox, which is a long-acting formulation of tetracycline. The detection of the residues of the antibiotic in the poultry flesh, byproducts, and eggs may be associated with the development of cytotoxic effects and with the reduced functional capacities of the organs. So which means all these eggs have a lot of antibiotics because chicken are fed with them, and even the injections are given into the eggs also, others who maintain them. So it is not good because eggs are not good. A lot of antibiotic exposure is there. They are given, all the chickens are fed with a lot of antibiotics. Animal food and the antibiotic resistance. According to a new report by FDA, approximately 80% of all antibiotics used in the United States are fed to farm animals. This means that in the United States, only 20% of antibiotics which were originally developed to protect human health are actually used to treat infections in people. मतलब जितना एंटीबायोटिक बनाया जाता है उसका केवल 20% ही ह्यूमंस को जाता है, बाकी का सारा एनिमल्स को जो फार्म एनिमल्स हैं उनको मेंटेन करने में यूज हो जाता है, which is a big loss because of this waste use of antibiotics. Antibiotic resistance is coming and people are dying because they are using tetracyclines in the chicken and eggs so much. How much they use per year consumption of antibiotics for animal use is 63,151 tons per year, and will rise by 67% by 2030. It's a big loss. It's a big loss for human community because remember, अगर आज आपका गला खराब होता है, अगर आज आपको जुकाम होता है या पेट में इन्फेक्शन होती है, you go to the doctor, he gives antibiotics and you get relief so fast that you are able to go to work next day. But suppose what happens, you develop pneumonia and antibiotics are not working on you. It will be havoc on the earth. So it is not good. In one of the biggest newspaper, the New York Times, in September 24, 1907, around 110 years ago, published on the headline that cancer increases among meat eaters. It is known from 110 years. My God. And they have written, on the other hand, Italians and practically vegetarians show the lowest mortality of all. So this newspaper in 1907, they published it. We all know meat is bad. Even then, I don't know why people are eating. And everybody knows the bioamplification of the pesticides. Suppose because all the pesticides, why they are bad is because they are non-biodegradable. What is non-biodegradability is, if a pesticide goes into your body, it will not leave your body forever. Suppose you are eating food and the food, whatever is taken by your cells, the remaining excreta is taken out in the form of feces and urine. But whatever pesticide is there in the food, it will not come out of the body. It will stick to your body tissues. So daily some pesticide is sticking into your body tissues. Now the thing is, you have to understand that if you eat a dog or some cow or some chicken who is feeding on food full of pesticides since 10 years, then that 10 years of pesticide exposure will come to you in one dish. Because if you eat these plants, you will get exposed to this amount of pesticides. If you eat all these, you are exposed to this much amount of pesticide. But these cows, these buffaloes or goat or chicken are being fed all these grass and food for many years, because it takes maybe 2 to 3 years for them to develop. And cows, buffaloes, these chickens and goat, they have a habit only of eating. They just eat because they don't have any work. They have to live at one place, so they eat a lot of pesticides since many years. And once you cut them, all the pesticide of past 2 to 3 years you are exposed in one dish. That's why chances of developing cancer are more in meat eaters. It is called as the bioamplification of the pesticides in the food chain. So you eat lower the food chain, that is you eat plants and grasses, you are exposed to less pesticide, because we can't escape pesticides. Pesticide is everywhere. There is very less chance that we can escape these pesticides. But yes, you can reduce your exposure. It is just doing suicide if you are eating one dish and you are being exposed to tons of pesticide which is being deposited in the body of animals since years. Fish consumption and the risk of diabetes. People think that fish consumption is good in bringing issue down. International medical journals have proved.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, the voice is little bit breaking. So
Any problem?
wait. Try again.
Is my voice clear?
Yes. Yeah, now it's better.
Okay. We are continuing. Fish consumption and the risk of diabetes. Environmental studies have proven that because fish lives in the sea, and in the sea there are a lot of contaminants, like especially sea is full of mercury and dioxins. So because fish is exposed to all those toxic chemicals, that's why fish consumption increases the chances of developing diabetes. What is written in this medical journal, which is the International Journal of Endocrinology, in 2013, it published that environmental contaminants such as dioxins and methyl mercury found fish might raise the risk of type 2 diabetes mellitus. Fish oil and the heart attacks. People think that omega-3 fatty acids contained in the fish are very good for heart. They lower the cholesterol. But the biggest journal of American Medical Association in September 2012 published the data that overall omega-3 polyunsaturated fatty acid supplementation was not associated with lower risk of all-cause mortality, cardiac death, sudden death, myocardial infarction, or stroke based on relative and absolute measures of association, which means eating fish oil is not at all good for your heart. It is proven by the biggest Journal of American Medical Association. Fish consumption and Alzheimer's disease. Conclusion of this integrative medicine journal: excessive seafood intake, particularly largemouth fish, elevates mercury levels and causes cognitive dysfunction, leading to development of Alzheimer's disease. A meta-analysis as published in the Diabetes Care Journal in 1998 has proved that daily intake of fish oil has no protective effect on hyperglycemia in type 2 diabetes mellitus as previously assumed. This is again the world's biggest journal. Diabetes Care Journal is the biggest journal on diabetes. A study done by Journal of Atlanta in 2010 showed that even the best qualities of fish oil are heavily contaminated by toxic organochlorines. Now, so everybody is very clear that eating meat, eating eggs, and eating fish is not at all good. Not at all good. Now let's go more detail, because see, the non-veg contains a lot of fat, non-veg contains a lot of protein. Now what is the international data on animal fat and what is the international data on animal protein? Look at the animal fat. Animal fat is called as the unsaturated fat. Okay, animal fat is called as the saturated fat, and plant fat is called as the unsaturated fat. Unsaturation means it is not fully developed. It is like the chain is not very straight, it is little curved because it is unsaturated. But because animal fat is very saturated, so it is very straight line. Okay, now if you in a layman's language अगर मैं आपको बताना चाहता हूँ कि animal fat क्या है और plant fat क्या है, तो it is very simple. This is your plant fat and this is your animal fat. Okay, so if you are eating a lot of animal fat, what? Yes, if you're taking a lot of animal fat, what will happen? And if you're taking a lot of plant fat, what will happen? Suppose a person is taking a lot of plant fat. So this is the plant fat which is flowing into your blood vessels, and this is the animal fat. If you're eating a lot of non-veg, not a lot of eggs, lot of desi ghee, then this is the animal fat which is flowing into your vessels. So there are chances that this animal fat will get deposited, because you see this, it has a tendency to get deposit on your blood vessels. A simple सी lines है जो एक के ऊपर एक बैठती जाएंगी. They will deposit on one above another, one above another, one above another, and there are more chances that you will develop atherosclerotic plaques. But this is plant fat, and it is very difficult for it to get deposit one above another because of their complex shapes. So if you're eating a plant fat, I mean, there are less chances of developing atherosclerosis, so there are less chances of developing heart attacks and myocardial infarctions. Now, in the medical community, there is one concept called as insulin resistance. I think deeply about it, because you know, cell membranes are made of always lipids. Cell membranes are always made of lipids, and these lipids always make most of the cell wall membranes. Suppose you are eating a lot of plant fat, so this will happen. Your blood vessel, your cells membranes will be deposited with the plant cholesterols, and if you are eating a non-veg animal fat, so your cell membranes will be deposited with animal fat, and this animal fat is because straight lines, so it will get deposited, and the cell membrane will be very dense, and here the cell membrane thickness will be sparse, and for insulin to go into the cell, it needs a way, it needs some keyholes. There are keyholes there, and there are more chances that insulin can make its own way to go into the cell. But here there is less chances that insulin can go inside the cell because of this non-complex structure. There is no way for insulin to go inside if your cell is made of fat cells. So the people who eat more animal fat, they have more insulin resistance. But the people who ate plant fat, they develop less insulin resistance. This is very simple. It makes a logic, right? A National Institute of Health report 2009, consuming fat from the plant-based food in its natural state can help in decreasing the risk of diabetes. अगर आप plant fat खा रहे हैं तो आपका diabetes का risk, अगर natural plant fat खा रहे हैं तो diabetes का risk कम होता है. ये किसने publish किया? National Institute of Health, which is the biggest authority in India to govern the laws regarding health. The fat from the animal food or industrial fat, such as various kinds of refined oil, can be and result in increasing the risk of diabetes. So if you are eating natural plants, the chances of developing diabetes are very less. These are so many landmark trials. The link of all these trials will be given to you by Rupaji later on. All these studies are available on the internet, and all these landmark trials have compared animal and plant fats and about the risk of developing diabetes, and they have proved that if you're taking natural plant fat like nuts, if you're eating nuts, there are very less chances that you develop diabetes. Rather, your risk totally goes off. So many studies, look at it. There's so much of data. A plant protein, I talked about the fat, so you're very clear that animal fat is bad. Even plant fat is bad, which is refined fat, because National Institute has given the clear statement that fat from the animal food or industrial fat, which is a plant, maybe plant fat, like oils, canola oil, olive oil, mustard oil, whatever plant fat which is unnatural, also increases the chances of developing diabetes. Now let's talk about the protein, because meat contains protein, egg contains protein, sprouts contain protein, lentils and peas contains protein. Research from the Women's Health Study, as published in Diabetes Care Journal in 2004, and the results from the European Prospective Investigation into the Cancer and Nutrition have proved that among the subjects with higher consumption of animal protein, they were also at increased risk of developing type 2 diabetes. These are again so many trials which have compared plant protein to the animal protein, and all the above studies indicate that if the protein is consumed from a plant source, that too in its natural state, then it helps in insulin sensitivity and reduces the risk of diabetes. About milk, yes. In India, milk is considered as vegetarian. we will dig deep into this topic because the message has to be very, very clear. The milk is not at all good. Milk and Diabetes, the world's biggest journal with the 100% impact factor, the New England Journal of Medicine, published a data in 1992. A bovine albumin is possible trigger for developing insulin-dependent diabetes mellitus. 1992, they published a journal and told that it is the cow's milk which causes diabetes. And you know, New England Journal of Medicine is the god of medicine. Whatever they say, it is accepted by everybody. Nobody challenges New England Journal of Medicine. Proceedings of the Nutrition Society in November 2000, they clearly gave the message that cow's milk and immune-mediated diabetes, which means cow's milk causes diabetes. You can read these journals, all this PowerPoint will be given to you. Rupa ji will mail the PDF version of this PowerPoint. Plus links will be given to you about these studies. You can look, these are all available on the internet. And Proceedings of the Nutrition Society is again world's renowned journal. Nelson Textbook of Pediatrics. Like for a medicine person, like I am MBBS MD in internal medicine, for me the Bible is Harrison's Textbook of Medicine, and for all the pediatricians, you know, child specialist doctor, for them the Bible is Nelson's Textbook of Pediatrics. And in the Nelson's Textbook of Pediatrics, बच्चों के जो डॉक्टर हैं उनकी जो सबसे बड़ी बुक है उसमें क्लियरली लिखा है कि टाइप 1 डायबिटीज happens due to early introduction of cow's milk. Type 1 diabetes happens due to early introduction of cow's milk. If you go visit a dairy farm, you will see that they have 1,000 of cows and buffaloes, and the staff is only maybe 50, 60 or 100. 50 से 100 लोग हैं वहां पे. लोग इतनी गाय, इतनी buffaloes का, इतनी cows का milk निकालना है. So what they do is, they have a special types of vacuum machines, because every cow they have given oxytocin injections and it is producing about 40 liters of milk, and all the milk should be sucked in 10 minutes. How to suck it is not humanly possible to take out all this milk in 10 minutes. So they use this vacuum devices which have nut bolts which fit into the tits of the cows like this. They screw it and they suck all the milk in 10 minutes. Now what happens when those nut bolts are loosened, the tits of the cow starts bleeding, and by the evening you can see that there is pus coming out of them. So in 1996, WHO summoned US milk industry that your milk contains a lot of pus. Okay, so this is the debate going on in the US, and the US milk industry answered back to WHO that although yes, we agree that our milk contains a lot of pus, but it does not matter to the health of the human beings. Why? Because we pasteurize the milk. We first heat the milk to 100 degrees, we boil the milk to 100 degrees, then we cool the milk to 0 degrees. Because of this pasteurization, all the bacteria are killed. So there is no harm if there is pus, it does not matter. And if you know, in the USA, there are 3 types of milk: quality A milk, quality B milk, and the quality C milk. Quality C milk is very cheap, and quality A quality milk is very, very expensive. And by US law, grade A milk is allowed to have over a drop of pus per 8-ounce glass of milk, which means roughly 135 million pus cells are there in 1 glass of milk, which is the A quality milk of USA. And in India, Amul, Mother Dairy, and many other milk companies are there. I don't know. That milk, if taken to US, will be labeled as C or B. I don't think it will be A, because I think 30 to 40 rupees per liter of milk, it will be quality C or B only. And no matter how much they pasteurize this milk, I cannot drink pus. I cannot drink pus. This is ridiculous. 4 landmark trials showing linkage of milk and type 1 diabetes mellitus. These 4 landmark trials have proved that milk is linked to type 1 diabetes mellitus. Finland, which has the highest milk consumption, also has the world's highest per capita rate of insulin dependent diabetes. फिनलैंड में सबसे ज्यादा दूध पिया जाता है और वहां पे सबसे ज्यादा टाइप 1 डायबिटीज है. और ये diabetes care, this is not me quoting, this is all whatever I have showed you, all are international medical journals, and they also have been studied very, very properly. Whatever international medical journal was influenced by any pharmaceutical company or any other company, I have not taken those journals. I have taken only those journals which were in the bottom of the journal, it is clearly written that authors have no conflict of interest. Means they have no benefits from this study, because I am a student of Dr. Michael Greger, who is called as the god of nutrition, and he has taught me to many of students like me that how to very deeply dig into the journals. The example of this is coming in next 3 to 4 slides. So Finland के अंदर में बहुत ज़्यादा दूध पिया जाता है, and there is maximum number of diabetes there. Protein, what happens is how milk causes diabetes. Actually, protein from the cow's milk is casein, and casein amino acid sequence number is 17, 17. And the beta cells of the pancreas, their amino acid sequence is also 17. So what happens when you drink milk? It goes into your body. The casein immune system goes and recognizes casein as 17 number molecule, and it digests the casein. What happens? Monday morning you wake up and immune system thinks that beta cells of pancreas is also casein, 17 number, 17, 17, confusion. So it starts digesting the insulin, the beta cells, and they start dying. That's why you develop type 1 diabetes. And in a small child who is less than 1 year of old, there are very less chances because intestine is very thin. So there is very high chance that this casein will escape the intestinal mucosa and go directly into the bloodstream, where it will create autoimmunity. But in a young adult or a adult male, because intestinal mucosa is very thick, so there is chances that this intestine will break down casein molecule, and 17 number will not go directly into the blood. Dairy food invites the chronic disease in the body. American Journal of Epidemiology, dairy products and the risk of Parkinson's disease. In summary, evidence from this and previous prospective studies support a positive association between dairy consumption and the risk of Parkinson's disease, particularly in men. So if you're drinking a lot of milk, there are more chances that you will develop Parkinson's disease. Milk and prostate cancer risk. High intakes of dairy products, milk, low-fat milk, cheese, and total dietary and dairy calcium may increase total prostate cancer risk. This is proven in American Journal of Clinical Nutrition that high milk consumption is linked to prostate cancer. Cow's milk and breast cancer, high consumption. This is again one of the best journals, Breast Care Journal. It is the world's best journal which is linked to breast-related disease. It has published data that high consumption of cow's milk was a risk factor for development of breast cancer. Now PCOD and its relation with dairy. Many women are fatty these days, and if ultrasound is done, their ovaries will be found to be bulky. And international medical journals have proved that, this is the International Journal of Prevalence of Medicine, have proved that there is a relationship between intake of dairy products and polycystic ovarian syndrome. So I always ask all those ladies who comes to my OPD with PCOD problem, and I found that all of them are actually taking a lot of milk. And around 40 of my patients, when milk products were totally stopped, their PCOD reversed in 6 months. Milk consumption during, now many people think milk is very good for bones. Now what international medical journals, that is a JAMA, the biggest journal of American Medical Association, milk consumption during teenage years and the risk of hip fractures in older adults. Conclusion was a significant 9% increase in the risk of hip fractures was observed in the men for each additional glass of milk consumed per day during teenage years. So if in the young age you are taking a lot of milk, there are more chances that you will develop bone disease and hip fractures during your old age. So milk is not at all good for bones. One more big journal, British BMJ, British Medical Journal, published a research that milk intake and the risk of mortality means dying, and the risk of mortality and fractures in women and men Conclusion was high milk intake was associated with higher mortality, कि अगर आप ज्यादा दूध पी रहे हैं तो ज्यादा जल्दी मर जाएंगे, in one cohort of women, and in another cohort of men with higher fracture incidence in women. So there are more fractures and there is more chance that we will die early if we drink more milk. This is not me saying, it is all by international medical journals. Now A1 milk for A1, there is these days a big battle is going on that desi cow milk is good and Jersey cow milk is bad. Remember one thing, A1 milk is for A1 calf and A2 milk is for A2 calf. Now let's go deep into it. Today we will debunk the A2 milk scam. Origin of the A2 milk classification. A1 and A2 milk जो है, they are classified based on the genetics of the cows from which they are milked. A1 milk is made from genetically modified cows, यानी कि जर्सी काउ से A1 milk निकलता है, and A2 cow is milked from pure breeds of, like they say, it's desi cow. This classification, how ये कैसे concept आया कैसे? This classification became famous after Keith Woodford published a book titled Devil in the Milk. This book was published, then this concept came. This book enlightened people on the disadvantages of consuming milk, but not completely. And you know who is Keith Woodford? It's from which country? It is from New Zealand. And this book was published in New Zealand and it became a bestseller. Later on, it became famous internationally, creating a demand for A2 cow's milk. The term A2 milk was first coined in the New Zealand. There is a company there, वहाँ पे एक बहुत बड़ी company है, which is A2 Milk Company. And A2 Milk Company is responsible for producing all the data regarding the goodness of A2 milk. Let's look into the data which is there in the international medical journals, because this is where Dr. Michael Greger comes. This is a big journal, Journal of Nutrition. It has stated that effect of milk containing only A2 beta casein. One second, just one second.
Very interesting information on A1 and A2. Many times the patients are switching on to A2 milk, thinking that that is...
Hello? Hello?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah. Effect of milk. Now see what this journal says. This journal says is effect of milk containing only A2 beta casein versus milk containing both A1 and A2 beta casein proteins on GIT physiology, on symptoms of discomfort and cognitive behavior. मतलब इस जर्नल ने 50 काउस वो ली जो A1 मिल्क प्रोड्यूस A2 मिल्क प्रोड्यूस करती थी, और 50 वो काउस ली जो A1 प्लस A2 मिक्स मिल्क प्रोड्यूस करती है. लाइक जर्सी काउ के अंदर में A1 और A2 प्रोटीन दोनों होते हैं, लेकिन जो देसी काउ है उसके अंदर केवल A2 बीटा प्रोटीन होता है. तो इन्होंने ये जर्नल बहुत बड़ा जर्नल है और इन्होंने स्टडी किया अराउंड मैनी काउस के ऊपर, और उस मिल्क का लोगों के पेट के ऊपर, मतलब ऑन द एब्डोमिनल कंफर्ट और उनकी कॉग्निशन मींस मेमोरी के ऊपर क्या इफेक्ट आता है उसको स्टडी किया. और इसका रिजल्ट ये था दैट कंजम्पशन ऑफ मिल्क कंटेनिंग A1 beta casein was associated with increased GIT inflammation and decline in cognition, and no above adverse effects were found in people consuming A2 milk. So इतने बड़े जर्नल ने एक स्टेटमेंट दिया कि अगर आप A1 मिल्क लेते हैं तो आपका पेट खराब रहेगा, आपको लैक्टोज इंटॉलरेंस रहेगी और आपको अल्जाइमर्स डिजीज हो जाएगा. लेकिन अगर आप देसी काउ यानी A2 मिल्क ले रहे हैं तो आपको ये सब नहीं होगा. So this statement was given by such a big journal, nutritional journal, in 2016. I was shocked when I saw this journal, and then I talked to Dr. Michael Greger about it, and you know he laughed. अब इस जर्नल के एंड में, अगर जब आप ये जर्नल इंटरनेशनल जर्नल को पूरा स्टडी करते हैं और इस जर्नल के एंड में जाते हैं तो नीचे पढ़ते हैं कि एक्नॉलेजमेंट्स. तो यहां पे क्लियरली दिया है कि दिस स्टडी वाज फंडेड बाय A2 मिल्क कंपनी. माय गॉड, इट इज द बिगेस्ट फ्रॉड in international medical journals, which is fooling people. The study was funded by A2 milk company. Author, I mean, this line is enough to tell you. One more international journal, Milk Intolerance, Beta Casein and Lactose. This journal again published the data that A1 milk is very bad and A2 milk is very good for GIT physiology, for lactose intolerance, and they even told that A1 milk causes type 1 diabetes and A2 milk does not cause type 2 diabetes. Okay, you are the biggest journal in the world, again, Nutrients, 2015 September issue, you are telling that A1 milk is bad. But again, this is what I request, because I will really look deep into the studies. We always look deep into the studies, and here again, conflicts of interest. Always look at the bottom of the journal, where this study is funded by whom. And here you see the author is Sonja Kulkujan, and Sonja Kulkujan is an employee of the A2 milk company. My God, making fool out of people. How can this study be pure? How can this study be so good? It is a pure fraud. Now, thing is, I have proved it. Now we have, all the Indians have some mythological connection to milk. And our God, our Lord Krishna, has told milk to be very good. And because most of us are Hindu, and we all worship Krishna, and how I dig into it, the history, and how can Krishna be wrong? No, Krishna can never be wrong. He was the God, and we worship him, and he was damn correct. What happened at the time of Mahabharata? There was an era where there was a lot of power to be used. People used to walk for 100 kilometers. They have to go into the sunshine. They have to do big battles, big battles. So they need a lot of energy. What they were doing, what you need for that high amount of energy, you need very powerful things, and for that people were killing animals. What Krishna saw, that these cows and buffaloes, they are so strong animals, they go for hundreds of kilometers in the sunshine and they never get tired, and they bear quintals of weight on their backbone, and they never get tired. So what Krishna suggested is, to those people who at that time needed a lot of power, he suggested to take milk of cow, which was the right decision at that amount, that point of time, because people needed a lot of power. They were exposed to such a big sunlight, and so there was no electricity, no cartwheels, so they were walking. So Krishna suggested to take the help of cow's milk. But at the meantime, Krishna knew that they will exploit the cows. So what he did, he called cow as Gau Mata. He told his cow is your mother, so you should worship the mother, and let the calf first drink whatever milk it can drink, and whatever little milk is remaining, that milk you take. And what people did, they followed Krishna, because he was the god at that time, and took little milk out of the cow. And because their sunlight, because milk contains a lot of calcium, which can go into the bones even only when your exposure to sunlight is very good. So they were taking a little milk. Their hard work was very high, and they were worshipping cows like Ma, like mother. And they started taking it, and it helped them because the spirit was right. It is all about the spirit. If you worship somebody and the cow is happily giving you some milk, little milk, maybe 1 glass, 2 glass from one cow, so you can maybe little take it in those circumstances when you have to go out into the fields and do such a hard work. So that's what Krishna, what happened in 1800 and the start of the 20th century, people started making it a business. The milk industry came, and that time the expansion came. All the concept of Gau Mata went off. And these days, they are exploited to like anything. So cow was the hetero, Krishna's wisdom, hetero era, no electrical resources. To save killing, Krishna called for a little milk intake from the Gau Mata, and cow was worshipped at that time. First, calf will drink, meaning people will whatever they will drink, and they were able to digest it because of high light exposure. And now in this era where we live in our homes, and this is our sunlight exposure is almost zero, so we cannot digest milk. So we have to change. Krishna always had a concept that he changed his words at any time. It was called as the ran chhod. कि इवन शत्रु को अगर उसको मारना है तो वो भाग भी जाते थे अपनी जगह से. And so it is a message which is very clear from Krishna that you need now. You have to stop taking cow's milk. You have to take a lot of. This is now end of those hetero era. We are now in a neutro era where we live in the homes and we don't do any hard work. We don't go out into the fields. And why should we go? Because if we are living such a lavish life, but we have to stop cow's milk. This is the message. For all those people who have a mythological connection, it is whether I think the message is very clear, right? Okay, guys. So now we are coming to the second type of food, which is the food which is made with the intention of earning profit, the artificial, industrial, preserved, and the refined food. About the food metabolism, there is a postal system in the human body. Suppose you write a letter to Dr. Pawan Vadhavan, MD Medicine, Ravindra Hospital, Panipat. That letter will come to Dr. Pawan Vadhavan. But suppose you write a letter called Pawan Panipat. That letter may not reach to me. मुझे वो letter नहीं मिलेगी, but वो पानीपत में circulate करती रहेगी गोल गोल और कहीं भी गलत जगह पे it will end up in wrong place. That letter may not. Address is not very natural food, which is in which the address that this food where it should go into the body, into the heart, into the muscles, into the bones. If the address written on the food is very proper and it is written by the God, that is nature, then that food will go at its exact place and give you right kind of nutrition. But if you are taking artificial food in which there is no correct address written, it will create problems. Now what happens is these fresh fruits and raw vegetables contains enzymes which have their genetic makeup. Genetic makeup means they have a destiny that you have to. So this is a microscopic section of kiwi fruit which is showing that this enzymes. So what happens is if you look into this video, you can see that even the calcium which is there in the spinach, this is the electron microscopic section of the spinach. The calcium, you can see it is live calcium in the spinach. And this calcium has a genetic code, it has a correct address written on it. It will go into your bones and make your bones more healthy. But if you suppose what happens, if you take this banana and if you take this banana chips, banana has a proper genetic code. That calcium in the banana will go into your bones, but here there is no genetic code. It will not go into the bones, it will keep circulating in the body in the wrong way. Suppose you are taking spinach and suppose you are taking calcium tablets. What is the difference? This calcium will go into your bones, this calcium will not go into your bones, but rather this calcium will go at wrong places, like it may deposit into your gallbladder where it will cause gallbladder stones, it may deposit into your kidneys causing kidney stones, it may deposit into your heart walls causing heart attacks. But even then, taking a lot of calcium tablets, your bones will still be osteoporotic. Okay, so this is the importance of taking. In Haryana, they published a big thing, newspaper. Haryana में ज़्यादा दूध और अंधाधुंध कैल्शियम खाने से हो रही है पथरी, बढ़ रहा है स्टोन बेल्ट का दायरा. This statement was published by the Rohtak PGI doctors panel. Means milk intake and calcium tablets causes all the stones in Haryana. The John Hopkins is one of the greatest institute in the world, medical institute, and it has concluded that calcium in the form, if taking calcium in the form of supplements may raise the risk of plaque buildup in arteries and heart damage. Although a diet high in calcium rich foods appears to be protective. तो जो भी लोग कैल्शियम की टैबलेट्स खा रहे हैं उनकी तरफ उनको मैं बड़ा क्लियर मैसेज देना चाहता हूं कि it is not good to take calcium tablets. You may die of heart attack if you are taking a lot of calcium tablets. This is not me saying, John Hopkins is saying, because that calcium is not going into the correct position. There is no correct address written on this calcium. But if you're taking a lot of spinach, lot of almonds, lot of oranges and a fig, then this calcium will go directly into your bones and your bones will be healthy. Now what happens is, if you're taking the natural food, suppose you are taking jaggery. Jaggery is good. If you're taking jaggery, what happens? There is high refined sugar. So this jaggery contains these small micro elements like chromium, manganese, cobalt, zinc, and magnesium. And because of these micronutrients, jaggery, it has been proved in international medical journals that jaggery has a cytoprotective and antioxidant properties. Means गुड़ के अंदर antioxidant property होती है जो कि fruits में होती है, जो कि ये सारे जो micronutrients हैं ये refined sugar में नहीं होते. इस कारण से refined sugar हमेशा नुकसान पहुंचाएगी, जबकि but this the jaggery will do good to you because it has contains those micronutrients. These are like micronutrients which are at the surface of the jaggery. What happens if you eat this good, these micronutrients which our ancestors were taking from long time, these are recognized by our gut bacteria. Our gut is called as now they have labeled as our gut is the second brain. This gut has a brain. They call it enteric plexus, and it is the second brain. Why it is the second brain? Because it can think and it can decide whom to talk and whom to talk. Because why this is brain? Because this
voice is not clear.
contains a lot of
Can we get last two sentences again, please? Voice is not clear. Can we get the last 2-3 sentences again?
Yes.
Can we hear those last 3-4 sentences again?
Contains these micronutrients. It contains chromium, manganese, cobalt, zinc, and magnesium. And because of these micronutrients, jaggery has a cytoprotective and antioxidant properties. But these micronutrients are not available in the sugar. That's why sugar is not good. And you know, these micronutrients are available on the surface of the jaggery. And our gut, आपका जो intestines है, it contains a lot of bacteria and it releases a lot of hormones called as incretins. Incretins और जो gut bacteria हैं, वो गुड़ को पहचानते हैं, क्योंकि आप सदियों से आपके हमारे जो ancestors and they were taking a lot of jaggery, and jaggery contained those micronutrients. These micronutrients are recognized by these bacteria. So what happens? They have called now GIT system as the second brain, enteric plexus, because it can interact with the food. So suppose you are eating a natural food which contains micronutrients. So what happens is the gut bacteria interacts with the natural enzymes. If you are eating a natural food like raw vegetables, raw fruits which contains some live enzymes, so this bacteria interact with the live enzymes and delay the emptying and absorption, which means if your sugar levels are very high, suppose your sugar levels are 400 and you are taking mango, and mango contains enzymes. So what happens, this our gut bacteria will interact with the enzymes of the mango, and because both are friends, they know each other, the gut bacteria will tell the mango enzymes that already sugar is high in the body, so you don't go inside. And because both are friends and made by nature, they comply with each other. That's why some of my patients, if I tell them to eat mangoes, their sugar goes down. But suppose you took some chocolate, milk chocolate, or some artificial toffee or candy, what will happen? It does not contain any enzymes. So this candy will not listen to this bacteria and it will directly go into your blood and your sugars will rise. Also, why this GIT system is called the second brain? Because incretins, it also secretes one hormone, that's incretin. Incretin is a hormone which then इनका incretin hormone का function होता है कि जैसी food inside it comes, it signals the brain and the pancreas to release insulin. So what happens when this incretin will work? Suppose you are eating mango, immediately incretin will recognize, oh, I know this from thousands of years because it has live enzymes and it has micronutrients. Jaggery has got micronutrients. So it will recognize this food and it will signal the pancreas that secrete insulin. But if you are taking a candy or some artificial food like chocolates or some pizza, there is no, this incretin hormone will not recognize them. So it will not signal to the brain to secrete ghrelin. It will not signal to the pancreas to secrete insulin. So that's why if insulin is not secreted, means your sugar will rise if you eat a candy or a chocolate, but your sugar will not rise if you eat banana or mango, because already incretin hormone will signal the pancreas to release insulin. Also, it will signal the brain after recognizing the mango that please release ghrelin. Ghrelin is a hormone which decreases our appetite. कि भूख लगना कम कर देगा. So that these natural mechanisms are there, and if you are eating a natural food, your sugars will not rise. What is this VIP and DIP? VIP is these are a type of food, like if you're all the artificial foods like candies, chocolates, pizza, all these are very important. They have no disease there. They're already sugar levels are high. So and the intestine is giving the red signal that please put to the food, that please don't go inside. But the VIP people, these will listen to you. ये सीधा अंदर चले जाएंगे और आपकी शुगर बढ़ेगी बढ़ेगी अगर आप गलत खाना खा रहे हैं. But if you're an intelligent people, they will listen to you. If your sugar levels are high, they will stop there for some time, and they will not go inside until unless your sugars are high, sugars are low. So this is the concept of, this is whole food, and this is refined food, artificial food. So this is the difference between AP. Now what happens is seeds and nuts. About seeds and nuts. Seeds and nuts contain 80% fiber. You know, इनके अंदर फाइबर बहुत सारा जो होता है सीड्स और नट्स के अंदर 80% फाइबर होता है. ऑयल की सिर्फ एक ही ड्रॉप ही होती है. सो व्हाट हैपेंस इन इफ यू टेक 1/4 टीस्पूनफुल ऑफ बादाम रोगन, इट अगर आप 100 आलमंड्स लें और उनको इफ यू ग्राइंड देम इन ग्राइंडर, how much oil you will get from 100 almonds? You will get only 1/4 teaspoonful. And if you are taking 1 karchi of oil in your sabji, you are putting, you are taking around 1000 almonds. If you are putting 1 teaspoonful, you are getting 400 almonds. So it comes to me many times, doctor, I ate only 2 chapatis only, but why my sugar is 400? It is not clear. This is the reason. You can eat as many as nuts you want, but never take any oil. All oils are bad. Why? Because there is no river, there is no well where there is any oil. Even nature has not made any mustard oil, nature has not made any olive oil, no, nothing it has made. So if you want to take natural fat, you take nuts as much as you want, your sugars will not increase. Why? Because there is a lot of fiber over there, and this fiber contains enzymes. So if you're taking 200 almonds also, this fiber has got enzymes. So it will interact with what? It will interact with the gut flora, and this fiber will not allow this oil to go inside. But if you're taking this oil directly, then it is a VIP food. It will raise your cholesterol. So it is very clear. Now, studies have proved that nut consumption is good for the health and diabetes. JAMA 2002, they have proved that if you are eating a lot of nuts, you will never die of heart attack, because all the nuts, including cashews, almonds, raisins, all of them contain a lot of magnesium. And magnesium is the best medicine which is given to a heart attack patient who is dying from heart attack. Now, all these preserved foods contains a lot of chemicals. These things are written. If you go and check on the internet and cross-check this, all these preservatives and chemicals, they lead to cancers. So these preserved foods are always has preservatives. Why? Because the profit spirit, the spirit of keeping the food as such. अभी तो उनकी expiry जो है 6 महीने की होती है. Now what happens? All vegetables oils are unhealthy, processed by companies for profit. No oil grows in the nature. If you dig this slide, I will skip. And remember, some people are very fond of taking vitamin tablets. And Cochrane database has proved that antioxidant supplements for prevention of mortality. But what is the report? Cochrane says we found no evidence that to support antioxidant tablets are good. Rather, vitamin A and vitamin C, अगर आप supplement करते हैं, there are more chances that you will die. And no supplement, अगर आप कोई भी unnatural vitamin ले रहे हैं, तो आपको chances है कि आप ज़्यादा बीमार होंगे और ज़्यादा death के chances हैं. ये Cochrane ने prove कर दिया. But there are 2 exceptions. One is vitamin B12, that is cyanocobalamin. अगर vitamin B12 vegans को थोड़ा-थोड़ा लेना है, उसका reason मैं बताऊंगा बाद में. But which vitamin B12 you should take? In the market is full of methylcobalamin. It is again a commercial exploitation by pharmaceutical companies. You should always take cyanocobalamin. Cyanocobalamin is a very cheap neurobion 4 tablet, which is 1 rupee 50 paisa tablet. Otherwise, methylcobalamin, every tablet is 10 to 15 rupees, which is very costly. And the studies are not done on methylcobalamin. There is no single data on methylcobalamin. All the data is for cyanocobalamin. Plus, you should go into the sun, and if you're not going into the sun, you take vitamin D little. The recommendation I will give you, but except that, no other supplement or antioxidants should be taken. You should rather go for high intake of fruits and vegetables. Now, food that grows in the naturally under God's spirit, they have proved that a heavy plant-based diet results suggest that the diet high intake of certain vegetables and fruits and lower in high glycemic index food may lower the risk of developing more aggressive prostate cancer. If you're eating a lot of fruits, which is growing naturally in the nature, the chances of you developing any kind of cancer are very less. Raw food, number of cylinders used is directly proportional to the risk of developing diabetes. Eat natural raw foods. Okay. Many journals have proved that the more you cook the food, the more your sugar levels will go. The less you cook, the less will be your sugar level, because raw food glycemic index is very less. इंटरनेशनल टेबल ऑफ ग्लाइसेमिक इंडेक्स एक बहुत बड़ा टेबल है जहां पे सारे फूड्स की ग्लाइसेमिक इंडेक्स दिए हुए हैं. उन्होंने क्या कहा है कि ग्लाइसेमिक इंडेक्स ऑफ द फ्रेश एंड रॉ फ्रूट्स एंड वेजिटेबल्स आर मच लोअर देन एनी काइंड ऑफ फूड. वर्ल्ड वार जब हुआ, वर्ल्ड वार 1 और 2 में डेनमार्क, इंग्लैंड और जर्मनी में व्हेन द सप्लाई ऑफ ऑल द रिफाइंड फूड्स वर कट ऑफ, द रेट ऑफ डायबिटीज एंड हार्ट डिजीज रिड्यूस टू 50%. बट जैसे ही वर्ल्ड वार खत्म हुआ, व्हेन द वर्ल्ड वार वाज स्टॉप्ड and the supply of the refined food again started into these countries, the initial high of the death rate of the diabetes and heart disease came back, which means during the world war people were dying because of death in the war, but there were very less disease because there was no refined food in these countries. But when the war was over, all the refined food started coming back, and death rate due to diabetes and heart disease again started rising high. Louis Ignaro is a famous scientist who was given Nobel Prize because he discovered signaling properties of nitrous oxide. In 1998, he was given Nobel Prize because he proved that if you take a lot of green vegetables, which has a lot of nitrous oxide, it has the vasodilatory properties that if your arteries are blocked, and if you start taking greens, you will develop collaterals naturally. So this was proved by Louis Ignaro, and he is a famous scientist, and these are his books, No More Heart Disease and Health is Well. These books should be read by you. I recommend to all my heart patients this recipe. This is my recipe of Green Garden Delight. If somebody has been advised bypass or has been advised to go for angiography or angioplasty, I always take a chance. If he is not critically ill, I always suggest them to wait for 10 to 15 days and go for this green chutney of spinach. This chutney you can later on take the recipe from Rupa ji. If you give this chutney of 100 grams daily to the patient and then again do the angiography, 70 to 80% patients will recover. And it is happening to me. Model of lifestyle diseases. There are 4 types of diseases: cancer, hypertension and heart disease, diabetes and autoimmune disease. Diabetes reversal program. अगर healthy बंदे में देखें तो वो खाना खा रहा है, ग्लूकोज जा रहा है उसके अंदर, the glucose is going into the blood vessels and pancreas is secreting insulin. So all the glucose which is in the blood vessels is taken into the tissues and the sugar levels are normal. What happens in type 1 diabetes? People are eating food, but pancreas is not there. There is no insulin. So this glucose is not going into the tissues and your blood levels are high. But what is happening in type 2 diabetes mellitus? The person is eating food and there's a lot of insulin which is produced by the pancreas. But even then, this insulin is not able to take all the glucose into the tissues, which means there is something wrong somewhere. What is wrong? See, it is strange in type 2 diabetes. Insulin is there, glucose is there, but even then this glucose cannot go into the tissues. Where is the problem? What has changed? Receptors are not working, membranes are not working, or our organs are not working, liver is not working, but rather I can say it is what is wrong is food. Taking wrong glucose. This glucose cannot enter the body. If you're eating natural food, type 2 diabetes in 100% of the cases reverses. Here there is a problem. Pancreas is damaged. This is a normal person. And here the problem is not in the body. Problem is here. Why I say? Because अगर आप देखें तो ये एक टाइप 2 डायबिटीज का पेशेंट है. और ये एक tuberculosis का पेशेंट है. See, if anybody is ill, he will be very thin, his face will be very dark, black, and he will not be having food. But if you see all the diabetic patients, they are very smiling and happy, fatty people who eat a lot of food, which means there is no problem in their body. There's no problem in their body. All the problem is there in the food. That's why type 2 diabetes mellitus is 100% reversible. Type 2 diabetes patients look so beautiful. No illness in there in the body, but their food is ill. जैसे जैसे लोगों को इंडिया में डायबिटीज बढ़ती जा रही है, सी दिस विद टाइम 1995 से 2025 में तीन देशों थ्री कंट्रीज आर देयर. वन इज ब्राजील, अदर इज चाइना एंड थर्ड इज इंडिया. विद टाइम इंडिया इज डायबिटीज का प्रेवलेंस जो है इट इज गोइंग लाइक दिस. एंड एज द पीपल इन ऑफ इंडिया आर गेटिंग डायबिटिक, US is getting more and more rich. I don't know why. There is a relation here. The diabetes is going up and US is becoming rich. Dollar is rising. Rupee is getting down, which means all the medication which you buy is actually from the Western system of US. And it is a marketing strategy of American Diabetes Association that they have reduced the fasting criteria of blood sugar from 140 to 100. Before in 1997, if the sugar level is more than 140, you will be diabetic. But now if your sugar level is more than 100, they call you diabetic because of this strategy. This is happening. Now what is my recommendation is keep the target of fasting blood sugar less than 140 and random blood sugar less than 200. Important is how you feel. If there are no symptoms, no weakness, then it is just fine. Hypertension and heart disease. What is blood pressure? Blood pressure is the measurement of force applied to the artery walls. The force with which the blood flows in your arteries is blood pressure. Worldwide, 7.5 million deaths per year due to high BP. 12.8% of all deaths. Cardiovascular disease kills 1 in every 4. मतलब अगर 100 लोग मरते हैं तो 24 लोग, तो 24 जो people हैं वो cardiovascular disease से मरते हैं. Cholesterol deposit. Why? What is this BP? Blood pressure is actually a defense of the body. What is happening? You are eating a lot of cholesterol, lot of fat, so your arteries are getting clogged with the cholesterol. So what is happening? Because of this cholesterol clogging, your arteries are getting blocked. So your body does not want you to die. So what is happening? It is increasing the pressure in the arteries so that your arteries don't get clogged. So because of this, blood pressure is increasing so that your arteries do not clog and you don't die of blockages. To stop that blockages, body is raising the pressure. So actually, high BP is just a defense to prevent artery blockage. So instead of taking tablets, if you start eating zero oil diet, zero oil, zero milk diet, if these blockages get clear, your arteries become normal, your BP will go down. Remember one thing. This is same thing happens in the coronary arteries of the heart. Your cholesterol is depositing. That's why if the blockage happens, you will die of heart attack. But if you start eating whole food plant-based diet, your blockages will get clear and your thought is normal. Atherosclerosis begins in the childhood and progress during adolescence and young adulthood. Almost all the persons have aortic fatty streaks by the age of 10. By the age of 10, bachpan nahi, from childhood only, Indian mother starts feeding their child with milk. And what happens by the age of 10, there are already fatty streaks. By the age of 20 years, they develop fibrous plaques. And by the age of 40 years, there is calcification and complication in these plaques, because of which heart attack happens, stroke happens, gangrenes of the foot happen, and aneurysms in the arteries happen. So it is not a one-day game. It is a 40 years game when you start developing your sins of your parents for past 30 years cause heart attack in you. Blood is, remember one thing, this is a river of Ganga. It is flowing at such a good speed, and because if you even put 10 kg of soil here, even then it will dissolve all this soil and it will keep flowing. But if you start putting 10 kg soil daily here, even this river of gangs will. Our blood is like river of Ganga. It is flowing at a very good rate. If you stop soil, dirt into it, it will remove all the cholesterol from your arteries, and because it is purified form of a river made by God, blood. So I request to all of you to just stop putting wrong material into your mouth so that your arteries and blood have a self mechanism of cleaning. So it will clean on its own, but you stop putting bad thing into your mouth. The history of mankind, 50,000 years of human evolution. For the first 43,000 years, people were eating high potassium diet. For last 7,000 years, people are eating high sodium diet. In the first 43,000 years, there were no disease in the society. There were no dairy products. There was no medicine culture. In the last 7,000 years, when milk was introduced and people started taking salt, all the disease have come. आपको पता, if for 7,000 years before, there was no need for developing of any pathy. Means Ayurveda is only 1,000 years old. Before that, before 7,000 years, there was no need of any Ayurveda because people were eating whole food plant-based diet, which was high in potassium. There was no disease. There was no need of any Ayurveda, Unani, Siddha, or any yoga, or any kind of acupuncture, because they felt the need of developing a pathy when disease came into the society, which came just 7,000 years after the introduction of salt and cow's milk. Ayurveda is only 1,000 years old. Even acupuncture is only 2,500 years old. And if you think yoga is only 5,000 years old, which means in 50,000 years history, for first 43,000 years, when we are eating diet high in potassium, that is natural diet, there were no disease in the society. For millions of years, terrestrial mammals, including primates, ate very small amounts of salt, as plants contain only trace amounts. Powerful mechanisms for conserving salt without our bodies were developed. The addition of salt to the food began 5,000 to 10,000 years ago, and then the problem of getting rid of the excess was produced. Humans are genetically programmed to eat about 1 gram of salt daily. Not the 10 we now average daily. मतलब कहने का यहाँ पे है कि अभी time short हो रहा है, we have to go fast. I will just sum it up कि we are taking a lot of salt. Before we were taking very less salt. So the recommendation is as per the 3,000 to 4,500 milligrams of salt which we daily eat in India. Evidence suggests that normal salt intake for most of the human evolution was about 1/10 of that actually. So you should eat very less salt, because salt is the only condiment which is not grown by the plants. These are the blue zones in the world where there is no heart disease, which is one is in Hunza. Here people live 140 years and they eat no salt. Taharanuma Indians have got no death from heart disease. World population में heart disease जहाँ जहाँ पे potassium natural food खाया जा रहा है वहाँ पे heart disease नहीं है, और where they are eating less potassium, that is less natural food, heart disease is more there. Low dietary potassium. Now, what is the recipe for protection from heart attack, heart disease, brain stroke, and hypertension? Very high, very high potassium diet and very low sodium diet. Potassium factor is always a constant. If you're eating a lot of fruits, your sodium will automatically go down. If you're eating a lot of processed food, you remember, अगर आप देखें biscuit में, remember biscuit, the expiry date is for 6 months. Why? Because they add a lot of sodium. They add a lot of sodium in the biscuits. 100 grams of biscuit contains 450 milligrams of sodium, but tomato contains 100 grams of tomato, only 3 milligrams of sodium. Even if you bring a bread in your bread, अगर आप देखें, it lasts for 5 days, which means if you carefully read the label, bread also 100 grams of bread also contains 400 milligrams of sodium. So all your duff nuts, muffins, all of them contain sodium. If you eat tomatoes, cucumber, lettuce, apple, banana, and oranges, there is no sodium at all in them. Which means if you start eating natural and not refined food, you will never develop blood pressure. To all my patients who come to me, I put them on a natural diet, and I have a 95% cure rate. So all my patient BP go down within 10 days on normal diet. Always exercise, because it is very essential. Alcohol is very bad for high BP. Smoking is also proven to be cause more heart attacks. There is a special diet developed by Dr. Walter Kampner. I use this diet. What happens if your BP is more than 180? I put the patients on boiled rice and fruits. If those patients take only boiled rice, which is without any salt, and they eat only fruits and they only drink water, they do it for 2 months, and what happens, even if their BP is more than 200, it goes down within 10 to 15 days. And Dr. Walter Kampner proved this thing. He put around 20,000 patients on a rice diet, and they saw it for 5 years that their BP was 200, and at that time in 1943 there was no BP medicine, and if somebody's BP is more than 200, he will die. He will label, you will die in 4 days. But once he started Dr. Walter Kempner's diet, his BP came down in, this is the rice diet started at 220 BP, rice diet started, and see, in 5 years his BP was absolutely normal. Even diastolic BP, when this rice diet was started, it came back to normal. So all the patients who have a very high BP should be put on this rice diet. Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn is world-known cardiologist. He has proved that if you give 6 weeks of whole food plant-based diet, your arteries will become clear. See, this artery was blocked here, thin artery, and people were put on zero oil diet and their coronary arteries became thick. Their flow is very good. So Walter Kempner has proved it. Even Dr. Dean Ornish also proved. He did 1,000 patients angiography. He put them saw the blockages in them. He put them on the diet, which is whole food plant-based diet, and he proved that their blockages got cleared in 6 weeks. Ecosprin is the backbone of modern medicine. Approximately 50 million people take aspirin on a daily basis to treat or prevent cardiovascular disease, but it is not needed. You should not take aspirin. It has a lot of GIT side effects. This ecosprin contains salicylic acid, and this salicylic acid is always present in all the fruits and vegetables, and herbs and spices contain them in highest concentrations. Tomato has got a lot of ecosprin effect. If you are taking a tomato, no matter in the form of boiled tomato or cooked tomato or raw tomato, it has got antiplatelet effects. It is proven in effect of tomato, antiplatelet effect is proven in international journals. Even garlic, if you take raw garlic daily, it has got such a potent aspirin effect that if you go to a Royal College of Surgeons, they will ask you before doing surgery. Suppose you want to do a surgery in England and you to go to Royal College of Surgeons, they will ask you, have you taken garlic in past 7 days? If you have taken garlic in 7 days, they will not do your surgery because of the risk of bleeding, which means garlic has got a lot of antiplatelet effects. So in this way, if you are taking this diet, hypertension is fully reversible. About cancer, people think, what is cancer? Cancer is, remember, what is happening in cancer is, this is the liver. It wants, there are thousands of cells here. They want to live. Because they want to live, they get their blood supply from the vessels. All the blood supply from the vessels, and because they get all the blood supply from the vessels, if you start eating cholesterol full of fat diet, these vessels will get blocked, and these cells will start dying. If this cell starts dying, what happens? Because you are eating cholesterol full diet, vessels got blocked, and this cell is dying now, and it wants to live. So if it has to live, what it should do, it will increase its size. It will increase its size, and it will start taking food from other vessels. This is called as tumor in the medical science. And what doctor will say, remove the tumor. Rather, what I suggest, you take a zero oil diet and whole food plant-based diet. These blockages start clearing, and this cell start getting food from these vessels, and the tumor will regress. And it has happened to many of my patients. Now, what happens? The patient does not agree, and it keeps taking this wrong diet. And even now, this vessel was blocked. Now these vessels also slowly with wrong food starts getting blocked. Now what will happen? This cell will start dying. Rather than dying, what it will do, it will start multiplying. It will start multiplying, and it will send its arms to other organs, far off organs. Like it will send its arms to brain, to lungs, to our arms. It will send like this, arms, it will spread its arms and send. So it will start taking food from other organs because it has to live. And what medical science will say, that you have a cancer metastasis. So they will put radiation here in the brain, they will put radiation in the lungs, they will put radiation to kill these arms. But if you are killing these arms and cell wants to live, it will send more arms. So rather than doing any chemotherapy or radiotherapy, if you start eating zero oil, milk-free diet, whole food plant-based diet, your blockages will get clear, and this cell will start getting food from its vessels from which it was destined to. So it will take its arms back. So your metastasis will resolve. This is what happens to most of our patients. This is an interview from Sharan by Dr. Nandita Shah, where one lady has cleared her breast cancer just with whole food plant-based diet, but we are very short of time. The best anti-cancer fruit in the world is lemon and cranberry. These fruits are well proven to kill any kind of cancer cells. Now, I think I'm just conveyed the message, and we are very short of time. Let's take the questions now.
Okay, there are a lot of questions
Yes.
waiting.
Yes.
We start the question number one. What if we consume oil in very low quantities
Ha.
by cooking using significantly very less oil?
You remember, always remember, poison, even if taken for a single drop, is a poison. No matter if you take a full katori of poison or you take a drop, poison is a poison. It is an unnatural food. And remember, if you go, that food which is cooked without oil is actually very tasty. It is just a psych. You have to develop the psych. If you start cooking this thing, food without oil, slowly you will feel that your gut feels better. And on the internet there are a lot of videos available these days for oil free cooking, which you can ask Rupa ji or others. But oil should be, if you want to live long, if you want yourself to be diabetes free, cancer free, and heart attack free, your oil should be absolutely zero. You should take only oils from the natural foods like nuts.
Okay. How can we address famine conditions if we don't use preservatives?
Yes, famine conditions, definitely. The concept of preservatives came only when there were famines and there were droughts. But remember, these days, there are no droughts. Yes, but if at some point of time, if you are on a world tour, you are going in the aeroplane for long hours and you need to live, that time, yes, for the living you should use. But that is just for 1% of the times. Just for 1% of the times. Otherwise, you don't need. Otherwise, you don't need any kind of preserved food most of the times.
How is fresh food compared with frozen food?
Frozen food, yes, it is not bad because they have brought the energy of coldness into the food, and all the enzymes have been frozen now, but they will become again active after they are taken out from the frozen from the refrigerator. So it is not bad to have frozen food. Frozen food is always much better than preserved food, but it should be absolutely chemical free. Like blueberries or acai berries you get frozen, they are actually not bad. But yes, if you have advantage of eating fresh, then there is no match for that.
Are you a raw vegan, Dr. Pawan?
No, I am not a raw vegan, and I don't advocate raw vegan. In the international medical journals, it is very clearly proven that raw diet is not good, not any good than a preservative diet. Means they have published data that raw vegan diet is not at all compatible with long life. It is a myth, because I follow international medical journals, and I advocate you eat a lot of raw. You eat salads, you eat juice, fruits, you eat juices, drink juices, and eat a lot of raw. But at the same time, it is proven in international medical journals that phytochemicals present in the grains are actually very good for heart disease, for cancers, for diabetes. So I say eat a lot of raw and eat a lot of chapatis, eat a lot of rice, because remember, भगवान ने हमें रोटी और चावल खाने के लिए ही बनाया है, and we just love it. अभी आप रोटी बंद करके देखो 4 दिन के लिए, it's a bad feeling. And why you want like to live like this? Roti and chawal are good. Eat a lot of. I tell all my patients, भाई 5-6 रोटी से कम मत खाना अगर खाने बैठ जाओ. But remember, at the same time, eat a lot of raw.
Okay, wonderful. How is processed sugar is connected with diabetes?
Processed sugar, I told you, always it is connected with diabetes because there are no enzymes, there are no micronutrients which are present in the sugar. So what happens when you are taking raw sugar with this refined sugar, it will not check. If suppose you are taking a lot of mangoes, it contains a lot of enzymes, it goes into your gut, it interacts with the gut bacteria. When it interacts with the gut bacteria, it will check what is the gut bacteria will tell your body sugar is 400. It will tell the mango enzymes, please don't go inside because they are friends. So mangoes will not cause your sugars to go high, but because they are DIP, disciplined and intelligent mangoes, but your sugar is VIP. It will not listen to the bacteria because it has no enzymes or living thing in it. It has only one job. No matter your sugar is 400, 500, it will go directly inside your blood.
Okay. Um, can type 1 diabetes be reversed? Do you know of any person who has reversed it?
Type 1 diabetes is always reversible, not curable. Remember, it is not curable because already pancreas is destroyed. So in all the patients, I have more than 50 to 60 patients of type 1 diabetes, and all of them diabetes has reversed. Reversed means they were taking 60 to 70 units of insulin, and all of them have come to 20 to 15 units of insulin. Their insulin sensitivity has gone high. The requirement of insulin has gone down. But yes, in my opinion, I have only one patient from London, Hayan Azizi, who has taken our residential tour, and he was cured of diabetes because he came to me within 15 days. He was diagnosed of type 1 diabetes, and probably he was in his little bit of mass was remaining. But otherwise, type 1 diabetes is never fully curable. You have to take insulin.
ऐसा है ना डॉक्टर, by the time the first diagnosis is done of type 1 diabetes, quite a major chunk of pancreatic cells already destroyed, right?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. So he's asking, my granddaughter, 6 years, is type 1 diabetic. Since last month, she is on plant-based diet, and there's no need of any insulin since last 9 months. But her weight is increasing,
Yes.
but very, very slowly. How to increase her weight and height?
Increase the weight and height. See, if you want to increase the weight, give a lot of nuts. Nuts are very good. They are natural fat, and they are very good to increase height and weight both. Then I think keep continuing whole food plant-based diet, but you should be under the guidance of right doctor, because many of the people come in connection with some nutritionist who is on raw vegan follower or follower of this vegan diet, and he says that your insulin will be stopped and your sugar will reverse. It is not good. You should be under the guidance of a proper doctor who advocates whole food plant-based diet. And in my opinion, I rather prefer to give insulin to type 1 diabetes. Rather, even if their sugars are normal, even then I give even 0.5 units of insulin, I give deliberately, because I have found that the patients in whom I stopped the insulin, once they were put on whole food plant-based diet, the insulin requirement dramatically goes down. In some people, their sugar becomes totally normal. But even then, in my opinion, I prefer little insulin because of autoimmunity effects. It helps in long term because it helps in preserving the pancreas. So if you are diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, maybe you can contact, because I love to help type 1 diabetes. It is my personal agenda. For anybody who is type 1 diabetes, my free service to all of you, anytime call me. My number is 839680016. It will be posted by Rupaji later on. Anybody, anytime, I am always available for type 1 diabetes because I am really concerned about them. They need a lot of help, and most of them are misguided. Most of them are misguided by many nutritionists, many kind of people. Anytime you call me, I am there for you.
Okay, wonderful, doctor. I will share it in the chat box just in a while. There's one more question. If tobacco industry have to print statutory warning, why is this not done for dairy industry?
What? Repeat the question.
I'll repeat it. If tobacco industry have to print a statutory warning, you know how we say tobacco is injurious to health and that kind of thing.
Yes.
Why is this not done with dairy industry?
There is all, this is all where the money game is involved. Even the tobacco industry, they started putting the label that tobacco is bad very recently, around maybe 10 years back. Before that, it was not written on any place that tobacco is bad. And maybe in future, when the veganism grows, this warning may come. But yes, it is already, I have proved you. Remember, in your TV के अंदर कभी भी ये ऐड नहीं आता है कि एप्पल खाइए, eat apple, it is good for you, eat orange, it is good for you. Never this. The ad comes is Coca-Cola is damn good, Pepsi is very good. These kinds of ad comes. So remember, all 90% of the literature is hidden even from the doctors and the patients, because if the truth comes, the billion-dollar industry, milk industry, there will be huge losses. So it's all money game everywhere.
There are some more questions here on the Facebook also.
Yes.
There's Seema Nayak who is asking that she's confused about which vitamin B12 to take.
Vitamin B12, always remember, I am telling you very clearly, you should take cyanocobalamin. What is the dose? There are no international studies for methylcobalamin. 90% of the people are saying methylcobalamin is bad. It is all pharmaceutical influence. Because what is there, the cyanocobalamin comes under DPCO. आप साइनोकोबालामिन का टेबलेट महंगा करके नहीं बेच सकते हैं. So that's why it is pharmaceutical influence. You should take 250 micrograms of cyanocobalamin tablets daily or 1000 micrograms of cyanocobalamin tablets twice a week. Always take cyanocobalamin. The cheapest tablet is Neurobion Fort, 50 paisa tablet available in the market everywhere.
Okay, wonderful. There are also more questions here on the chat screen. I was just thinking if we can stop sharing the PowerPoint since it's not required.
Yeah.
And so that everybody can see you.
Yes.
Okay. There is a Swati Sahu asking, you are talking about natural food, but we all know that natural foods contain high amount of pesticides. What are the options of removing pesticides?
Yes, always remember it is very easy. This is a very good question because see, there is a concept of organic food coming these days, costly organic food. I tell you, in the international medical journals, there is no study which has proved that organic food is has advantages over pesticide full food, because the normal food what you get is actually there are a lot of pesticides, and yes, pesticides are bad, we all know, because of their non-biodegradability and they cause a lot of toxic effects on the body. But studies have not proved that organic food is any better than normal food. But still, there is a concern how to remove the pesticides. Yes, it's very easy. See, if you have vinegar at your home, if you put 1 bottle of vinegar into your bucket and wash it and put your vegetables in the vinegar for 5 minutes and remove it and then wash those vegetables, 100% of the pesticide goes off. But this is very, very tough. It is not possible for everybody to do it. Now, what is the best way to remove pesticides? Okay, it's very easy. Take half bucket of water, take 2 to 3 pinches of salt, put that salt into your bucket water and dissolve this salt properly into your water, into your bucket, and then put your all the fruits and vegetables into that bucket just for 20 minutes and then remove that water and again wash those vegetables and fruits with normal water, and you will remove 99.9% of the pesticides. Very easy.
Dr. Pawan, can we switch off your PowerPoint and stop the screen share?
Okay.
Yeah. Wonderful.
Yes.
I will now read some more questions. Is Neurobion Forte vegan? Like
Neurobion Forte is vegan, yes, 100%.
Oh, wow, wonderful. Then can
yes,
you
it's gone.
List of food items to eat for high cholesterol. Any vegan?
Hello?
Yeah. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So someone has this high cholesterol problem and is asking what food items should be eaten for someone who is suffering from high cholesterol.
See, if your cholesterol levels are high, it is very easy to decrease the cholesterol. Now, international medical journals have proved that's the best medicine to, if you want to really decrease your cholesterol, go oil-free, 0 oil, stop all the milk, okay, no artificial oils. Take 4 Brazil nuts in 1 month. Just 4 Brazil nut is an imported dry fruit, which is available on Amazon. It is for 600 rupees, it is 200 grams, and just take 4 Brazil nuts in 1 month, and it is more potent than your 1 month intake of atorvastatin. The second is take 1 teaspoonful of alsi, the flax seeds daily, and they will improve your cholesterol. Take 1 teaspoonful of amla powder. Amla powder is more potent than atorvastatin or rosuvastatin, and I think it will do it. In all my patients, I just give them Brazil nuts. I give them 1 teaspoonful of flax seeds, and I give them amla powder. And I wanted to share, actually, the time given to me was very, very less. Otherwise, I could have shown you. International medical journals have proven that just intake of 4 Brazil nuts in 1 month is more potent than 1 month of 20 milligrams of atorvastatin. And those studies, when I will show you, because I have recently taken a talk in Hyderabad on God's Pharmacy, where I proved it that with natural food, you can actually cure your high cholesterol level.
Wow, wonderful, doctor. There are some nice comments on Facebook saying amazing information, good information.
Still, I was not able to share all. Time was very less.
Yeah. Kajar Shah is saying superb.
Others were given 2 hours. I was given 1.5 hours.
But
Okay.
We can do in future many more webinars.
Definitely.
And
Definitely. Definitely.
Also, there are many more questions. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
So this was about the cholesterol. They're asking, any vegan book do you recommend?
Vegan book, yes, many books. I recommend all of you just one book. Just read, please, one book, How Not to Die, from Dr. Michael Greger. Just read this book, and it's
wonderful.
How Not to Die. Yes.
Wow. I haven't read that. I would like to read it.
It is damn good.
How Not to Die. Okay, I'll order it. Roti shouldn't be wheat and rice, white or brown. मतलब गेहूं की चपाती खानी है या नहीं खानी है, और राइस कैसे होने चाहिए, ब्राउन होने चाहिए या व्हाइट?
See, always remember, wheat is not bad. Wheat is always good. There are no proven studies that, except for the 1% of the population who have celiac disease, and remaining 3% of the people who have non-celiac gluten hypersensitivity. Which means out of 100 people, 4 have problem to wheat. And why that problem to wheat has come? Because remember, 7 types of grains are eaten. Out of that 7 types of grain, most used grain is wheat. And because of its overuse, they have made it mutated. They have done the mutation with the genes of the wheat. Now, earlier wheat used to contain very less amount of gluten, which was there in 1800s. But because of its, it was very susceptible to this pesticide attack. What scientists did, they modified it. So it contains a little more gluten. That's why this problem of gluten hypersensitivity has come. And for some people, that's why industry has again taken up that issue and making it an agenda that gluten hypersensitivity is there, gluten problems are there, gluten is causing thyroid disease, gluten is causing Alzheimer's disease. Again, all this, it is propaganda. See, 1% of the population who has celiac disease, and remaining 3% of the people who have non-gluten hypersensitivity, which should be documented. In 97% of the people, wheat is very good, and you eat a lot of wheat. What is my recommendation is, see how to escape gluten hypersensitivity. See, remember, if you are very, very sensitive to gluten, you have taken one small piece of chapati and you feel very bad after that, go for endoscopy, take your biopsy test done. It should document that you have celiac disease. If you have celiac disease, don't take. Otherwise, what you do, if you think that you develop some gas or bloating after eating chapati, what you do, you take a multigrain atta, which should contain all the 7 grains like ragi, all ragi, wheat, corns, and soya, and all these 7 grains, out of which wheat should be this much. So you will not develop any bloating. You will not, because the concept of gluten hypersensitivity is only come from the fact that now the gluten, the percentage of gluten is more in the wheat. That's why you are developing celiac disease more and bloating more. So how to reduce that gluten content? Just simply make multigrain atta. Your wheat content is low now, so you will not develop any gas, you will not develop any bloating. But wheat is good. Wheat is very good.
Yeah, what a relief. Thank you.
About rice, yes. Remember, brown rice is very good. Brown rice is very good because remember, brown rice contains a covering of husk, which contains all the multivitamins. And if you wash this rice, if you remove the mand from that rice also, vitamin B complex will not be lost. But what happens in white rice, they have removed all the husk already, and because this husk is removed, there are no vitamins in the white rice. What industry do? They have orders from the government that vitamin B complex spray should be put on the white rice. So all the white rice are sprayed with vitamin B complex. So if you wash this rice and you cook this rice and remove the mand from that rice, the extra water, all the vitamin B complex will be lost. So it is not bad to take white rice because it is very tasty, but it has no match for brown rice.
Okay, wonderful. They're saying Dr. B.M. Hegde says that roti or chapati is associated with the risk of diabetes as it contains gluten. Please verify.
Yes, I will. I have one slide actually in my PowerPoint where it is proven in international medical journals. Let me show that slide to you so that it becomes very clear.
Yeah, you'll have to share the screen again.
Yes, is it clear now?
Yes, but you'll have to share the screen again.
Screen, I have shared now.
Okay, your PowerPoint.
Yes, it is not coming now.
No, we can't see. Wait a minute, let me see. No, we cannot see your PowerPoint. You'll have to share your desktop. Yeah, now we can see. Yeah, you want to show the slide telling people that because the wheat contains gluten, maybe it is not good for diabetes patients.
Actually, what I will comment is one second. It was to be made clear to everybody. How to make it clear? I need slide. Is my screen visible?
Yes. It is visible.
Okay, wait 1 second. Let me find out.
Usually I see that many of the diabetes, patients, they
No.
go off gluten.
I can show that. Wait 1 second. How to? Yes. Wait 1 second. It may take time actually. One slide which has proven, international medical journals have proven that there are, remember the whole grains, what is the difference between a bread and a whole grain? The whole grain contains more than 5,000 types of different phytochemicals in that. Okay. In your bread, because it is a refined food, there are no different types of phytochemicals. Those all phytonutrients and phytochemicals, once taken properly, actually reduce the risk of diabetes. Because remember, if you are eating a wheat chapati, it contains a lot of fiber. Okay, but if you are eating a bread, it does not contain any fiber, right? So that fiber is the problem, is the solution. If you are eating whole grains means whole wheat, whole corns, whole ragi. They contain a lot of fibers. They will never cause your sugar to raise. But if you are eating a processed grains like bread, pasta, or some noodles, they may increase actually your sugar, not the whole grains. It is never given anywhere that the grains actually cause this. That is the thing. I will find out. You ask other question now.
Okay. Any specific diet to be followed at night?
Yes. Okay. Done. So this is the slide. It is from the British Medical Center, Public Health, fiber intake and lifestyle disease, whole grains. Accumulating evidence indicates that greater dietary fiber intake reduces the risk for type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, certain cancers, weight gain, obesity, and diverticular disease, as well as functional constipation. So if you are taking a lot of whole grains, you will not develop diabetes, your sugars will go down, you will not have obesity, you will not have certain cancers. So actually it is very good to take this thing, right?
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you, doctor. Any specific diet to be followed at night to bring down high blood sugar? High blood sugar in the fasting.
See, what matters is the whole food plant-based diet. Particularly if you want to bring the sugar down, eat food before 8 p.m. That is one, because actually the number of hours will be more. Okay, so it is personal satisfaction that you go for a walk. Take little apple cider vinegar. Apple cider vinegar is damn good to reduce the blood sugars. And eat normal food. If you are a type 2 diabetic, in 100% of the times, diabetes reverses. I have more than 200 to 300 videos of people in whom the diabetes has reversed. Just watch them. Let them be your motivation, and you can actually reverse it. Apple cider vinegar reduces blood sugars. Then some sort of whole grains, little whole grains is good, any whole grain. I don't think low glycemic foods have helped in my patients. I think it is a whole food. जितना लोग रोटी ज़्यादा खाते हैं, rather उनकी sugar कम आती है सुबह.
Very amazing information.
Yes.
How to reduce the dosing or insulin by following this type of diet? How do we kind of...
You slowly reduce. Simple funda is slowly. You stop insulin, keep reducing the insulin by 2 units, 4 units daily, or maybe weekly, and stop one tablet at your own. Remember, international medical journals have proven that there are more deaths with the more the intake of drugs. More you take drugs, there are more deaths. By stopping the drugs, you will not die at any way.
How many almonds can be consumed daily? Should they be soaked?
Yes, because see, God has made all the nuts given the power of dryness, because they contain a lot of heat energy. So God made them dry. Dry means all the enzymes are in the sleeping condition, so you have to activate them. So they should always be soaked. What is the correct way of soaking them? Never soak them in more water. Many people have a habit, they soak 10 almonds in 1 katori of water. If you are doing that, you should drink that water, because all the vitamins will be lost. My recommendation is just wash them in running water, so that all the polish and all that wrong stuff gets washed away, and then put them in your katori as such. In the morning, they will be soften up, and you can eat them. Don't remove their peels. And in my opinion, not more than 20 nuts should be taken in one day. Although the study shows that the more you take the nuts, your sugar levels reduces, your cholesterol level reduces, and the chances of dying from heart attack reduces. But in my opinion, because God made God gave covering to all the dry fruits, like almonds were made in a shell. Almonds are actually in a covering. You have to break them in the door or with some hard device. So if you bring that natural state of almonds, I can bet you will not eat more than 10, because it is very difficult to break them. When you bring walnut, it is very difficult to break the walnut shell. So you will rather get fed up. Man, I cannot take more than 10 to 15. Maximum you will take 5. So I think it's good to take nuts, but in little quantity, because that's why they are packed. Yes.
Wonderful. Dr. Madhab Nayak here, and he's asking, as per Dr. J. Fung, toxicity of insulin. Insulin to be stopped for type 2 diabetes by intermittent fasting. By Professor Roy Taylor. What's your view?
I have no idea about it. In my opinion, just there's no need for fasting. You just have food. Already living on a whole food plant-based diet is the biggest fast which anybody can do on this earth. So rather enjoy your roti, enjoy your rice, add as much as you want, and I think it is quite fair to stop the insulin slowly.
You mentioned about food having code, like a postal code. But roti and rice are
Yes.
processed foods. Will they have a natural code?
Rice, see, yes, rice is grown in nature, and if you see brown rice, it is natural. Brown rice is always natural. It has got a lot of fiber, and all those fibers contain enzymes. And if you look at whole grains, which are directly taken from the fields, and you should know them, they are not refined. If you start refining, then all the fiber is lost. Remember how to know, because in my area, Haryana, we people have our own fields, and we all the stuff we get from my own fields. I have all my vegetables coming from my own land, and all the fruits, also most of the fruits we grow ourselves, and all the chapati, wheat and rice are grown in our fields. So we get actually this crude atta. So whenever I am in Delhi and whenever I am there in Bombay, I become happy more because the roti is very soft there. But actually that is not healthy, and that is not the whole food. And that is what the natural code is not there. So it will raise your sugar. But if fiber is more, actually if you eat crude roti, you will never love it. It is very difficult to digest. It will be very difficult to chew also. So I think that is whole food, if taken properly, will never create problem.
Also, sometimes I see poor people eating very thick wheat roti, and it's also dry, and they'll eat with chew very well because it's so dry, and then the vegetables with it, and they can work harder than us.
Yes, that's why. That is the reason why.
Yeah. Asking any vegan recipe book, please.
Yes, there are many vegan recipes. Rupaji can provide you. She is also writing one book on milk natives, and we have some Indian books by Saul, Dr. Bimal Chhajjar, and then Dr. Bishwarup Rai Chaudhary also has written one book on raw vegan, not only on raw, on vegan diet, which is lifestyle recipes. And I recommend personally one book which is going to come in December end by Dr. Michael Greger, How Not to Die Cookbook. I recommend all of you, please buy it. There will be no match for that book. No match for that book.
Wonderful. Dr. Saab, this Kavit Sethi is asking, you have a lot of information which you could not cover. Can you please email me the presentation on my email?
This link will be posted by Rupaji very soon.
Yeah. We have all your emails, and we can post the information, all the data you want, PDF, whatever. Plus, I am going to put this video is already recorded today, and we will put it up on YouTube channel of Ahimsa Festival. And right now it is also there on Facebook. You can see it tomorrow, day after. Already some people are watching it. Next question is Kohinoor Basmati brown rice okay?
I have no idea if it is a brown rice properly and it is not very tasty to eat. It will be good only, but I think you should check it. You should check it, because I personally recommend go to the fields and see what rice you are buying. But I think if they it is a branded company, and if they are selling it under proper trademarks and proper this thing, it will be good only.
So, doctor, all the questions are almost over. There are also everyone has been writing also. Thank you for valuable information. Thank you, doctor. Thanks a lot to the Ahimsa team for organizing these webinars, all that. Doctor, we should be doing something more, topic-wise in future.
Yes.
Because so many questions, oh, there are some more. Okay, they are saying thank you very much to you.
Yes.
And
to all of you, just I want to tell you two things. Just my last words. Be in touch, because future is these webinars only. It is very difficult for me to travel all over the India, but I keep doing the webinars. I have some of my followers. Just be in touch in my Facebook pages. Like I have a website called as medisujok.com. Is the screen showing now?
No, not.
Okay,
Please share
okay.
it again.
Yeah.
And I'll be sharing your
See,
number.
yeah.
Everyone on the.
So this is my this thing. My Facebook page, my web www.medisujok.com, and I have two Facebook pages where I do my research and keep posting there. There are two Facebook pages. One page is Diabetes Reversal with Whole Food Plant-Based Diet, and other page is Medisujok. Please follow my research over here and be in touch. I will be doing a lot of webinars in the future because a lot of information has to be shared and people have to be guided properly. So be in touch, and hopefully we all will evolve, because I also need to learn from your questions. Yes.
Doctor, we can also write your email in the chat box for
Yeah.
everyone to pick it up.
It is pavanmathavan@yahoo.co.in. Pavanmathavan @yahoo.co.in. PAAWANWADHAWAN
Okay. I'm writing it here. I
Yeah.
hope it's correct.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's your email, your cell number, your website, your Facebook presence.
Yes.
And I'll also be emailing whatever data is possible for me to email.
Yes, definitely.
This was the part of the Ahimsa festival. Today was the 11th day, and this was the 11th event of today. We had 11 events today. So this is the end of the day. Thank you very much, everyone. We have one more webinar coming up by Dr. Sarwanand, who stays in
Yes.
Kanyakumari.
Wonderful.
And he is practicing also the whole food plant-based diet. And he will be talking on a new topic, that is autoimmune disorders. That will be very useful because there are such strong medications people are taking almost for years, and then they suffer from two things. One is the disease itself, and one is the side effects of very strong medication like immunosuppressants. So he will share with us all this amazing story and the testimonials if possible. All right. So thank you very much, doctor, for taking out your Sunday evening, which could have been used for something else, but giving us time and such profound knowledge.
Yes.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you, everybody. See
Thank
you.
you. Bye.
Yeah. Bye. Bye.
Okay.